The province just announced the company hired to do a study on the Yarmouth Ferry, 21 FSP, at a price of $180,000 to do a broad economic impact study. I believe that's in your area or close to it.
Absolutely, I represent Yarmouth.
So what are your thoughts on the study being put forward by the province?
Well, listen, we are a province of ferries. We've got 13 in the province. They are all either fully paid for by the province or subsidized by the province and the federal government. And I think it's unfortunate this is the only ferry that's being targeted for an economic study. This has been the target of political attacks for a long time by Premier Houston. And I'm certainly worried about this company that nobody's heard about before. You know, they said they had a really competitive process to bring a company in to evaluate the economics of the ferry, and it just so happens that this company started when that tender came out. There are some connections, I think, with the Conservative Party, and it's surprising they wouldn't have gone like with a Grant Thornton or a Deloitte or companies that are better known for doing this sort of work. So, not knowing this company, they've never done work before in Nova Scotia. They weren't registered to do business here until the RFP was issued or around that time. Does make me suspicious that this is not going to be a fair process and that it's going to be more about politics than economics. And that's certainly something that I'm concerned about. And I think people in Halifax need to understand a lot of the facts about the ferry too. Which they don't necessarily know. Like, this feeds the tourism industry in Nova Scotia from one part of the province, from Yarmouth, all the way up to Cape Breton. 60% of the travelers that come over on that ferry from the U.S. Make it to HRM and spend money here. 40% make it all the way to Cape Breton. It's a group of visitors from the U.S. that don't come into Nova Scotia through other means. They come through the ferry, and they tend to spend twice as much here and stay twice as long as people who are driving into the province. So it's a very high-value tourism market in Bar Harbor, and it has a major impact. If you want to look at the amount of money that's being spent on that ferry, even just this year, and the numbers are going up for visitors that are coming here from the U.S., it's probably been around $30 million that's been brought into the province in new money. So a lot of people don't have the economic figures on this, and the tourism industry has been very vocal about how important this is, and it's important that other people know how important it is for our economy as well. So hopefully hopefully I'm wrong and this process is fair, and this company does look at the economics and aren't just going to be focused on the politics around this ferry.
Is that a bit of a problem, having possible connections to the Conservatives, or just starting up, right before the process begins?
It doesn't give me confidence in the process, and I do think it does make me a bit skeptical. You know, this is a new company. They seem to have some ties to the party, and I'm worried that they're going to be there to do the Premier's bidding and not necessarily treat this fairly. I hope I'm wrong on that, and I stand to be corrected on it. But that is a concern that I have right now. And again, they said this was a competitive process and that there was, I believe, up to 16 companies that bid on this. I'm surprised it wasn't a company that, we know does this work all the time, like a Deloitte or a Grant Thornton or, any one of these companies that are well known, that do business in Nova Scotia and that have been around a long time. So I do have some concerns over this, and I'm not the only person. The tourism industry, I spoke with them as well. They're quite concerned about it.